This month, the three blind mice, Lee, George, and Paul, are having a special event, a Back to the 50's Invitational. So I had to decide what I was going to do and found this little beat-up 57 T-Bird from Hot Wheels. My dad loved this car. He never owned this 57 T-Bird, but he loved the porthole T-Birds. And, he did go on to own a 64 T-Bird, if I remember correctly. That one was blue. And then I really vividly remember the 69 T-Bird that they had. That just felt like a gangster car. That was four-door, had the suicide doors, black interior. I was a little kid sitting in the back of that car. I kind of disappeared back there in all that darkness of the back seat of that thing. So anyhow, if your dad loves T-Birds, you love T-Birds. So took it apart. It wasn't in too bad a shape. The interior was kind of interesting. That piece there, it's the glass and the seats. I couldn't get it apart at first, but it folds over. And here you can see how it kind of swings up. And the interior is on the bottom part and the glass is on the top part. And it just has this like clamshell design. I ended up intentionally snapping that into two pieces because I wanted to keep the glass that color and wanted to paint the interior black. So go through the usual, cleaning it up, getting the posts ground down a little bit so that it'll go together easier later. And then it was on to the process of cleaning up the body. Once I had the body looking the way I wanted it to look all nice and shiny, that's after the Scotch-Brite pad, I hit it with Rust-Oleum gloss white, and then for the second time I've tried this Minwax fast-drying polyurethane clear gloss. And since the Rattle Can Rumble's coming, I thought I'd mention that gloss has worked fantastically for me. Now 2 builds in a row. I couldn't be happier with it. So I haven't tried it on my Duplicolor Metalcast paints that I really love. So that'll be another big test for it. But now twice on the Rust-Oleum enamels, it's turned out really well. So I went over it with the Molotow pen and painted in the little details I wanted. I didn't want to get too crazy on it. I wanted some of the chrome trim to pop. I've used recently the fingernail polish little ball-tipped things. I used those again on this one to do like the portholes and to do the headlights. I basically took some of the chrome from the Molotow pen and then dipped those pins in the paint stick thing, whatever you want to call it, for the fingernails. the probe. There you go. The paint probe. And got the chrome on that and then used that for the portholes. Stole the wheels, the white wall wheels off this Star Wars van, Princess Leia edition. And I wanted white walls. It's an old 50's car. Filed off those little nubs on the base, metal base, metal body, metal base on this one. Filed off those little nubs because those wheels needed more room. Not a lot more room, but they needed more room. So got rid of the nubs, and I ended up just polishing the hell out of that metal base. I didn't want to use the Molotow pin to create chrome over the metal. I just wanted to shine up the metal that was there. And that's what I did. And I went over it with rubbing compound. Went over it with the buffing wheel on the Dremel tool. Did that for quite a while. Got it nice and shiny. Then wiped it all down with, as you'll see here. You can see up there, it's already pretty darn shiny already. There you see the two pieces where, it was one piece, and I intentionally split it into two because I wanted to paint that interior black. As you can see there, I ended up doing it black. And then it was gauzy time. Happy gauzy time. I had cleaned up the windshield and dipped it in gauzy. Drained off the excess and threw it in that little container over there, covered it up so that it wouldn't get any flying fuzz or debris of some kind on it that would screw it up. And that's the end of the gauzy session. So finished up, polishing up the base, just cleaning off what's still there. I did end up going over it with rubbing alcohol. For good or bad, I don't know. It seems to help clean it. You can see I got it really nice and shiny. That made me really happy to see that turn out so well. It did make it so I didn't have to do any chrome work on the base. And then I just basically dropped in the wheels and used some super glue to hold those down. That took care of that portion, and that was basically it. I didn't go too wild on this one. You can see the shine on that body from that clear coat. That stuff is, I can't wait to see how it does on the metal cast paints. I'm really curious. I'm really hopeful. There you can see the two pieces that at one time were one, now they're two. That interior I did do black. I did some very minor detailing on the interior. I painted in some gauges and stuff. But, I like the cleanness of this build. I like the, it's not too over the top. It's the car I know my dad would love to own. And thinking back, it's like, kind of looks like I think it was a 56 that was in American Graffiti, which was like the first time we saw Suzanne Summers. I think Richard Dreyfuss, it was, if I remember correctly, spotted her, and she was in that T-Bird next to them in traffic. So there you have it. Here's where we ended up. I do like the wheels. The way the body was made, I needed to go with the bigs in the back. And so it's a little outrageous, but not too much so. You can see I did the taillights, and you can see the chrome around the windows and stuff, and chrome around the portholes. You can barely make that out. And some of the body chrome. Headlights, I did not go Robin's Egg Blue. I did the Molotow pin for the headlights and then went over it with white for the lenses themselves. So I kept it pretty simple. So I hope you like this build. I'd like to thank Lee, George, and Paul for adding this event to the usual monthly lineup. There's some glamour shots here at the end, and a lot of different angles just of the car. Those were taken outside, obviously. It's kind of interesting to see how it looks outside with like a real natural kind of background to it. So thank you guys for doing this invitational. Please go check out all of the other builds. There's going to be quite a few people doing builds this month. A lot of people sending in glamour shots of what they've done, even if they aren't doing videos. So thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for supporting all the other builders out there. We really do appreciate all of you checking out our work. So everybody stay safe and healthy out there, and catch you in the next one.